What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Smith. I want to thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Saturday night. Just got done watching the Sixers pull off a W against the Bulls without a lot of their top players. So this team is looking great. So I'm pumped up, feeling good. But of course, I've got nothing but birds on my mind right now. And I got to talk to some of you guys a little bit earlier. We talked about some of the news that was going down, and I am just amped up about this team. I've been amped all year because, look, regardless of the losses, we talked about that. I would be pumped up about this team because I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the draft picks we have next year, the cap space we have, and I'm excited for some of the young guys we have as part of this future, what we are building. So I'm still excited even though we had some struggles and a lot of people, jumping ship, losing their mind, this, that, the other thing. And we're just trying to stay calm around here, trying to make sense of it all, break it all down, take it all with a grain of salt, get the context of why we're struggling. And look, Nick Sirianni, Gannon, they're all new at their positions, first time head coaches, coordinators. We've got young guys at a lot of positions. So I understand the struggles. You don't want to go through it. You hate losing, right? But we talk about the fact that we're going to possibly have 3 first-round picks, all that cap space, and I do see a lot of good things from some of these young guys. Now, we need Hurts to continue to improve and stop missing some of these wide open throws. I think he's been working on his progressions, a lot of things that we talked about, but he still has those issues, and that's fine. We're coming into week 9, so I'm not losing my mind over a lot of these things, but very excited for this game regardless. My man, Michael in the building. I'm feeling damn good tonight. How are you, my man? Because tomorrow we've got a very important game. I feel that if you could win this game, you can really build some damn confidence here. We talk about, it's not about wins and losses this year. You just want to see this team fighting. But when you have an opportunity to win a game when a team is having some injury issues where you could attack them, not great against the run. You're finally learning to run the ball. Great things. That's what I see. So I'm doing damn good. Hope you're doing well. You know it. Eagles. Eagles. You know it. I am ready to rock and roll. Hope you guys are ready to roll. My man Pharaoh in the building. What is going on, dude? I'm ready to rock. So we're going to get into this. We've been talking all week about this team, who they are, what's going on. Dude, I'm fired up too. So let's get pumped. Let's talk about the top 10 matchups in this damn game because, look, this is going to be a tough matchup for us. They've got an explosive offense, but we've got a team that has a lot of hope and they've got some fight in them. So let's hope we come out with a damn good game plan. But we've got some matchups we could definitely watch out for where we can exploit. Last week we went through a lot, and a lot of those things happened because, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, guys that need to see, an extended amount of snaps, dude. Davey and Taylor, TJ Edwards. We need to see these younger guys, and it's just the way it is. So, Teron Jackson, you got Milton Williams making plays. There's so many things that happen. I'm excited about it, but we're going to talk about those top 10 things tonight. But before we do that, let's get a better understanding. We've been keeping up to date with both of these teams, obviously the Eagles, but we're keeping track of the injuries for both teams so we know what is going on during this game. So let's talk about the Chargers first. We talked about, the beginning of the week that they had some injuries that would be concerning. Well, now we know that their secondary is banged up, but it got even worse for them today. So here's their injury report. They've got Michael Davis and Asante Samuel Jr. out. That's 2 of their top 3 corners are out for this game. Now, Tavon Campbell apparently has a groin injury, and he is questionable. That would be monstrous for them. Alohi Gilman is out, a safety of theirs, and then Justin Jackson, the running back as well. But that secondary, look, we talked about that this week. These young receivers need to get things going. I know we have to run that ball, but we're also going to have to put up some points. You cannot be one-dimensional. You're not going to just be able to keep running because you have the score, and I hope we do have a huge lead and can just keep that by running the ball, but we'll see. This offense is definitely better than the Lions. So with these injuries, they elevated a couple players. We talked a little bit earlier today about who we did. I'll talk about that in a second, but they got Maurice French here, sure, and Keandre Thomas. All right. 2 guys off their practice squad. They need a little help. But look, we looked at let's take a gander at their corners here. This is from yesterday when we were talking about with Tavon Campbell in the mix. So we were talking about, maybe Campbell, Smith, Harris are your guys. Now, with this questionable tag, if Tavon Campbell is out, you've got Ryan Smith, Kamon Hall probably is your outside guys, and then Chris Harris Jr. as your slot corner. Keandre Thomas, just obviously we talked about, added from the practice squad. You're missing 3 of your top 4 guys down there at the bottom if Campbell is out. Already missing 2. That is monstrous. So Jalen Hurts, man, this is an opportunity for you against a good defense to show. And I'm sure, everyone will use excuses. Well, this guy was hurt, but I don't care. This is your time. And we've had other games where it's like, hey, look, we should be attacking here. Well, this is that game. Let's do it, please, for the love of God. So you got to run that ball. I'm going to say it all damn day, but I also want Jalen Hurts to keep getting better. And this is a game that they're 5th against the pass. They're pretty good. We talk about them having a nasty duo of safeties, probably one of the best in the game. It's going to be an interesting one. But I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. So now the Eagles side, you guys know I made a video just for this man because we've been keeping everybody up to date around here for weeks, letting you know that it was about that time that he would be coming off of the IR when Ertz was traded. It definitely looked like, ooh, here we go. Well, he is back, ladies and gentlemen. We know his window was activated a couple weeks ago, but he is here, ready to go, ready to play tomorrow. So Tyree Jackson will be a part of this team. Now we're looking at the tight ends for the Eagles. Now you got tight end 1 Goddard, and he's got Tyree Jackson and Jack Stoll as his backups. I love that. You guys know I talked about this in the offseason in case Ertz was gone. Those 3 are my guys that I think we can build toward the future, man. With those 3 right there, you don't have to worry about the tight end position. You've got a monster Tyree Jackson that goes up and gets it. I mean, Goddard can do it all. Then Jack Stoll can be used in that H-back role we have talked about. And I just think this trio, it gets me pretty pumped up. And I think a lot of 12 and 13 personnel in the future, maybe not necessarily in this game. You're just getting Tyree Jackson back. I don't know if you want to push him too far, but I still think, in the next couple of games, he's going to have a bright spot here. I'm very excited about this, very pumped up about Tyree Jackson being back. So, yes. Now, we do know one person, and the only person out for this game for the Eagles is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, the blocking wide receiver who does not catch the ball. So, fantastic. Now, we talked about yesterday that Howard and Hightower would probably be elevated due to the injuries. Well, sure enough, we got Jordan Howard again. Hell yes. And then John Hightower added because of Arcega-Whiteside being out. So we'll take a gander at the running back room now. You got Scott, Gainwell, and Howard again. Let's run that damn ball. I can't stress enough. Run the ball. Then the wide receiver core would, like I said, I'll say it over and over again. They got to get going. And they've got a lot of injuries here in LA. So they're coming to our house. Let's put up some damn points by running and passing the ball. So time for Reagor, Quez, Devontae, all to have themselves a game. Let's go. All right, guys. That was all of your injury news for right now. Unless something wild were to come out, but I'll definitely let you know tomorrow about Tavon Campbell for the Chargers. Pretty wild news there. So we'll see how that goes, but we definitely need to attack that secondary. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But Nick Sirianni, he's still a young coach, and he and Hurts and everybody have to get on the same page. So let's just be patient. And if we do lose, just hope we keep fighting. And when we lose, you always can say in the back of your mind, well, at least the draft pick's better. So, and then you'll always have your negative Nancy's that, oh, well, Howie Roseman. It's like, well, dude, Howie Roseman had a great draft this year, did well with the cap. So I'm just going to hope he has another good year. What have you done for me lately? He has done well. So I'm going to hope that he keeps building on that. Now let's jump into it. The top 10 matchups for this game. Number 1, Jalen Hurts versus that Chargers defense. We talked about it. They are banged up in that secondary, but they've got a decent pass rush. Joey Bosa, not exactly stepping it up this year, but a 3-4 defense now, doing some things there, and, lost his running mate with Melvin Ingram there. That's a big loss for them. And not having Kenneth Murray in the middle is huge. So it's time. We know that they have the worst run defense, 32nd with yards allowed. We have to run that ball. That makes things easier for Jalen Hurts. It makes it easier for everybody. Sirianni, get your head out of your ass. And I think he was doing that in the Raiders game. And then Miles got hurt, but he showed last week, okay, let's run the ball. But I need to see you doing that in a game where you're not just scared that you got to put up more points. Obviously, you need to put up more points there, Sirianni. But sometimes running the ball is okay. All the time. Okay. Let's just be real. I cannot stress it enough. Please, for the love of God, run the ball. So we're going to ask and pray that he runs the ball and then allows Jalen Hurts, to actually not have to have RPO and decide himself whether we should be running or passing or all of these decisions, making him throw 30 plus times every damn game, 40. But I mean, come on, man. Let's get it together, make things easier for our young quarterback. I don't know if, it's a lot of people say, like, well, management's telling him, and maybe they are. Maybe they want to see what he is. So putting it all on him. But that's pretty dumb. I don't know if that would be what they're doing, but we got to see a lot of things here for the future. So I think having a healthy line, obviously we're missing two of our starters there still, but having Mailata and Johnson and Kelsey, that's huge. So hopefully these young guys keep staying healthy first and foremost, but progressing. So on to the next. Let's be real here, guys. We need that offensive line I just mentioned. So we need Johnson and Mailata on those edges. We need to watch out for Joey Bosa. And you could throw Nwosu in there too, but wherever Joey Bosa is where you got to watch out. But I think Mailata could have his hands full, but there's definitely times he could line up against Johnson. We'll see how it goes down, but very glad to have our bookends back, and hopefully they just keep building on that. So I love what they are doing, and obviously it was the Lions, and everybody wants to bring that up, but it's like, dude, I don't care. Regardless, Lane Johnson's the best right tackle in the game. Jordan Mailata, love where he is and where he is going to be, hopefully very soon. I think he is a stud. So I'm pumped up, but you got to watch that outside rush. Keep Jalen Hurts protected and allow him to stay in that pocket. And a lot of times it's Jalen Hurts' fault that he's leaving too early. So make the right reads, stay calm, and let's make the right plays here. So that's obviously going to be very important. But the run game, we know that if we don't run the ball, nothing works. So you have to run the ball and run it with all three of them. Use Scott, use Howard, and if it's just, whoever the hot hand is, I don't care. But use Gainwell in the passing game, whatever you got to do. I want to see these running backs used. You have good running backs. You saw what they can do. And this is the worst run defense. Banged up linebackers. I mean, here we go, dude. So you got to take advantage of the fact that Kenneth Murray is not there. So you've got Kazir White, Drew Tranquil there. Obviously the whole defense is something you got to watch out for, but these linebackers are not Kenneth Murray. You got to run that ball, man. And I think we're going to get to the next level and then the next level. And I think you just keep pounding that rock, man. And I think these guys are going to be able to do that. I'm excited. I think everybody's going to get themselves some. Very pumped up. And, they activated the 21-day window. When we talked about maybe Kenneth Murray would possibly be back. I don't think he would rush that soon. So that did not happen today. So they will be without him. So you got to attack right there. You got to get Boston Scott, Jordan Howard. I think Jordan Howard, just keep pounding that rock the way he is. Boston runs tough between the tackles. Love what he does outside the tackle. I'm very excited to see us run the ball tomorrow. So the next matchup, our wide receivers. We talked about these young wide receivers, and this is in no specific order. We go from the quarterback line. We just do offense and defense. So these are just the top 10 matchups here. But the Eagles wide receivers, man, we need to see them get things going with Jalen Hurts. We need to see them gelling together. And I really this is the game, man. And we talk about, them having three of their top four corners possibly out. Definitely two of them. I mean, that's huge. Asante Samuel Jr. being out, that's major, man. So I just think that this is the time to get these receivers going. Devontae Smith, man, if Chris Harris has to play in the slot, that's an opportunity for him to attack Ryan Smith. Come on, Hall, whoever it is. Let's go. Rager, Watkins, all of them. Let's go, dude. We need to see this pass game get going. And I think, obviously, this is a perfect game for the scenario we're talking about. You need to still run the ball to establish that run. You're obviously probably going to have to pass it a lot because you're going to need to keep up with these guys. I think we have a good defense here. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But they're going to be able to score points, I imagine. And, we'll see what happens. But, dude, you got to run that ball. And then when you do, you got to bang up secondary when you're hitting those play actions, when you're doing all that great stuff. And it doesn't have to be RPO or shotguns on the goal line. I mean, there's those stupid things. You just need to get out of the way, Sirianni. So stupid mistakes, obviously, are always a big one for us. The penalties, you can't be shooting yourself in the foot. So that's always a top matchup for us. But I'm not going to put that in a graphic because that's just embarrassing. So let's not beat ourselves this week. That's obviously major. But other than those receivers, tight end one, Dallas Goedert. That obviously we got some other tight ends excited about them. But Goddard, man, and dude, he's been looking good. But I just want to see Hurts hitting him across the middle. There's times where he is open. We got to utilize that. I think Derwin James is one of the best safeties in the game, man. So he is going to have his handful. And look, Nasir Adderley is another great safety. So he's definitely going to be there. But We could be running 12 personnel, 13 personnel. We'll see. But I'm sure Derwin James is going to have his eye on Dallas Goedert. So I'm very excited to see what happens there. But just as much, it could be Adderley as James. But James lines up all over the place. We talked about that yesterday. I mean, that dude's a stud. He can play like any position almost on defense. I doubt he'll be playing defensive tackle, but the dude's a stud. So they'll be lining up, watching the run, watching the tight end. He can do it all, dude. So, yeah, we'll see. But that's a big one for us. Now, switching over to our defense here. Matchup number 6, we are going with our defense versus Justin Herbert. So when you talk about their offense, obviously this kid is a true stud. I'll continue to thank him every time I talk about him for that fantasy championship because I would not have made it or won that game without him. So thank you to he and Stephon Diggs that week. They were huge. So this kid, I know what he's got. And look, they've got quite the amount of weapons on this offense we're going to talk about in a second. So, yeah, Justin Herbert is definitely somebody I am a little fearful of. You saw what Derek Carr was able to do to us. He picked us apart. So we have to be able to get pressure on Justin Herbert. We have to continue to get pressure. This team does not turn the ball over much. We talked about, getting turnovers, getting sacks last week. And that is exactly what we did and we need to continue to do. But they're only giving up like 2 sacks per game. That's like middle of the pack in there. But they're a good team. They got a decent line, and this kid is the real deal. So he's going to become one of the best in the league here in the next couple of years. He really is legit. If you haven't seen him, you're about to tomorrow. And yeah, he's pretty good. So this defense needs to continue stepping it up. I'm very thankful that we have McLeod and Harris back there as safeties. Glad to see Taylor and Edwards getting more snaps at linebacker. Super excited about these, young linemen finally stepping it up a little bit with this new 3-4, the hybrid schemes we've been running. But love the corners, what they're doing. Like to see some of these younger corners get mixed in at times. Just keep learning from some of these guys. So very pumped up. Open offense to the middle. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just saying, Michael. You got to get that over and stay tuned here because at the end, we're going to get into the middle just a little bit more here. So, yes, that is one of my emphasis as it was last week. I was emphasizing on that because, well, needs to happen. So, 100% with you there, Michael. Now on to the next. We know that they have got themselves a pretty decent line, but this year in the draft, they went and got Rashawn Slater. That dude is a beast. Can play tackle, play guard, but playing left tackle for these guys. And we talked about this last week. Penei Sewell, right? He was out there on the left tackle, and I talked about the fact that Sweat and Barnett needed to get things going. Don't care if he's first-round pick. Show us what you got. They went out, got themselves some sacks, a couple sacks for Sweat. Dude, I was losing my mind. So it was a very exciting day. But that's something we talked about. You got to get after the quarterback, get some pressure. We need to do that to Justin Herbert. We didn't do that in the Raiders game, and it was embarrassing as hell. You cannot allow him to pick you apart. We're going to get into their weapons in a second here. So we need to get pressure on this line. Obviously, the entire line is a huge matchup, but this is where it's going to be the toughest for us. But I still think we can win just like we did last week against Sewell. Attack that young man, get his ass. Let's go Birds. Now we're going to move on to number 8. We've been talking about these weapons, and there are a plenty. So what is going on, Jerry? It's actually showing you, once you click on that link on Facebook, I think it continues to show you. Sometimes people have to click it again. I have no idea why Facebook hates the world, but that's just the way it is. But hello, Jerry. I hope you are having yourself a fantastic night getting ready for this damn game. So let's go. Oregon Ducks fan. Dude. You're a bird guy. That's what I like to hear. A lot of bird watching in your life. Well, you've got the right bird here. So let's get into the last few here, the weapons of the Los Angeles Chargers and how the Philadelphia Eagles are going to shut them down. So up next is Austin Ekeler, someone we've been talking about this show, and we know what this dude can bring. When he is healthy, he is a problem. Not only can he run between the tackles, outside the tackles, he can catch the ball. This dude does it all. So very elusive guy. I think that we obviously have struggled immensely against the run this year. So we got to do whatever the hell we can to shut him down. But I'm a little concerned. But I'm very excited to see Taylor and Edwards take over, getting the predominant amount of snaps. But you have Alex Singleton here. obviously still sprinkled in. We waived Eric Wilson. So you've got the young guys and you've got Singleton there for depth. And I am more excited about that. Edwards good against the run, Taylor good against the pass. They could both give a little bit of their powers to the other. You know what I mean? So we got to work on that tackling. Edwards got to work on that coverage. I mean, these are young guys, though, and I'm excited, but man, this is going to be tough for them. Davian Taylor's going to have his hands full, keeping an eye on Austin Ekeler because we're going to need the safeties to do their thing with some of these tight ends, their receivers, the back. So we're going to see what Gannon has planned here, but we're definitely going to need our linebackers, our line. Everybody's going to have to step it up against this dude. But yeah, I think Taylor could definitely be in charge of trying to keep up with that dude because he is very fast, elusive, but Taylor has done a good job. So we shall see. Now, obviously, we run a zone, a lot of certain things that get sprinkled in there, but we'll see what Gannon has in store. Now, on to number 9, these receivers. Oh, my God. Well, not just Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, dude. You got Jalen Guyton in there who, honestly, this kid's a stud. And if he were anywhere else, his stats would be blown up. But he's got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen in front of him. But any of these dudes can eat you alive. You know that our secondary has done well, but we've also struggled. You saw what Tyreek Hill did to us. Deebo Samuel got open. So Keenan Allen, man, you got to watch him. Vontae, maybe we'll be running a little bit more of the dime. Maybe you'll see a little Gowan sprinkled in. Maybe Kerry Vincent plays a little safety or something. I'm not sure. 3 safety sets. Regardless, we shall see what this defense looks like. But we got to be able to shut these receivers down somehow. Justin Herbert definitely will have a field day. This is not Ruggs, Edwards, and good old, what's his name? Why can I not think of it? Oh, Jesus. I just literally blacked out there. Whatever the Renfro. I don't know why I could not think of Hunter Renfro's name for the life of me, but he's just not that important. Obviously, Keenan Allen is much better than him. Mike Williams is a super deep threat. We got to watch out for that deep ball. You know, Tyreek Hill was killing us. So, hey, man, that's going to be tough to shut him down, but we got to do the best of our ability here, Bird. So let's go out and try to stop those receivers some way, somehow. Now, for the final matchup here, that tight end position, look, we have done well against some of the best tight ends in the league, which is awesome. It's great. But then, there are times where we've seen Foster Moreau most recently beat our ass. And then you saw that 12 personnel with Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin. We definitely got hurt by Schultz, but they have such good receivers. You got to take all that stuff with a grain of salt. But once again, here we are with the team that has some really good receivers. A lot of times when you have a good defense and you're keying on those guys, it leaves other people open. So Jared Cook's been having a great year, and even Parham's been having a good year. So I think both of them sprinkle in enough that you're definitely going to have to watch out for that 12 personnel. Even McLeod, Harris are going to have their hands full. Watching not only the receivers and helping out deep, but some of these guys may have some underneath coverage to take care of here, and it's going to be intriguing to see. But they have a plenty of weapons here. Now, before we get done, that was 10. But as I just promised, Michael, I wanted to talk a little bit more about that middle. So I had to throw, as we did once earlier this year for Davian Taylor, which was weird. Then he actually started seeing snaps after that. So maybe we'll get a little something special in the air here. Honorable mention, Tyree Jackson. Again, I don't know how much he's actually going to be used, but if you're activating him for this game, I feel like, well, he could still see maybe 10, 15 snaps, and I'd be excited to see him, gradually being added into this offense. But if you do add him in there, well, you can use Jack Stoll in that H-back role. You can have the 13 personnel with the 3 tight ends out there. So you've got Derwin James, Adderley. They're worried about these other guys. What's going on here? Well, we talk about Kazir White, Drew Tranquil being in the middle there. Well, that's a perfect time while Goddard, he's drawing someone out. Boom. Underneath, you've got Tyree Jackson, maybe a little hitch route, maybe a cross route, whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. But the dude's a monster. Get the ball in his effing hands and let's ride. So I'm very, very excited about the thought of him being here. So just wanted to throw in an honorable mention here because, well, I think if he is even in this for a little bit, I think we could see some magic happening, ladies and gentlemen. And I would be very excited to see Goddard, Jackson, and also Stoll on the field at the same time. So all of that. In the middle, we talk about you need to attack. So I think this can finally be done, whether you do it with Goddard or maybe do the same exact thing, vice versa, and you get to Goddard. And whatever you got to do, you can do it with a lot more toys now. And I know that a lot of things they're doing, they don't have certain, you're dealing with a new offensive line every single week, or this back's hurt, or this receiver, or this, that. Let's just hope we're getting things going here. We're starting to gel, and we're starting to build something special. So that's what I'm hopeful for. Tomorrow, I'm going to be tuning in, and I'm going to hope for a damn win. But if we lose, I'm going to just hope that they fight. There was some accountability, and this team actually showed that they gave a damn. And, they looked like it last week. They looked like, they had a meeting, and they talked about that. And then, we're soiling flowers and growing roots. Sure, whatever you got to do. I don't care. Let's win. So regardless of if we talk about it being a bumpy season, that it doesn't matter if we win or lose. Every time it doesn't matter, because when I tune in on Sunday, I want to win regardless. It's our birds, baby. Makes us joyous inside when we win. And that game last week, it was so fun. It's been a while since we laid a smackdown like that. You get jump up and down. You're enjoying the high fives with the family. I missed that. I truly did. So let's have another good game. Let's go fight here. But that was your top 10 matchups to watch, with a little honorable mention sprinkled in there. But hope you enjoyed. But now we have obviously come down to the final moment where I give you guys my score prediction, because I know you all love those so much. So if you have any score predictions yourselves, please let me know in the comments. How are you feeling about this game? Is it an Eagles upset? Are the Chargers going to stomp us into the ground at our house? Don't think we've even won at home yet this year. So that's embarrassing as hell. They didn't win when I was there each time. So, hey, let's get ourselves a W. But I'm feeling confident. We talked about those matchups. If things can go our way, if Sirianni, Gannon come in with the right game plan, and if it doesn't go as planned, like it usually doesn't in life, not just football, well, you got to be able to adjust. And that would be great, man. That's something you've been lacking. So that's all we want to see. Want to see you guys come out and pull out a W. I think we can do that. So I'm going with the Birds, 27, Chargers, 23. I think this defense has looked vastly improved. Only gave up 6 points, obviously, to the Lions, but this is not the Lions. But I still think we can hold them to 23 points. I really think that they obviously could still get the ball moving, but we have been good in the red zone, and I think as the weeks go by, we get better. So I'm excited, because this is a tough task, but we have had nothing but tough tasks minus last week. And even the Lions were putting up fights against teams like the Ravens and the Rams. So honestly, I'm just happy that they are doing the things that we needed to see. So let's keep building on those. Run that damn ball tomorrow. And if things aren't going well, don't just abandon it right away. Losing your mind if they're scoring. Let's just get the right game plan, adjust on the fly, and let's go Birds. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about those top 10. Whether you're watching this now, you can let me know before I head out here. If you're watching this later, you can always comment, always get back to you guys whenever I see it. But I hope you guys are all having yourselves a great weekend so far. Saturday night, it's past 11, late as hell. For some of you guys, early as hell for some of you other ones. But I'm going to try to stay as sane as I possibly can until 4 o'clock. I hate waiting until 4, but at least it's not 8, I guess, right? Or Monday. So I'll be here tomorrow. We'll be talking pregame, and then we'll be talking at halftime. We'll be talking postgame. Win, lose, or tie, it's bleed green until we die in these parts. So I hope you're all having yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. If you need anything, whether it's to talk about the Birds, anything in life, I'm always here for you guys. Appreciate you always being here for me. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button, retweeting, subscribing to the YouTube channel, everything you guys do. I really do appreciate it. And I know it sounds repetitive, even like saying that I, extend my hand, but I really do mean it. And those of you who do that we talk outside of these shows, I truly appreciate the family, not just the friends that we've made, and you guys are family when, you're sharing some of those things and we're getting on a real level, and I've been to hell and back, man. So I just always try to extend my hand for anybody who needs a friend, so if you do, and you don't have to get serious with me, man, we could just talk Birds, because I know a lot of you guys like to open up with that. So whatever it is, man, I'm here for you, and I appreciate you guys being here for me. You know it, Jerry. Have yourself a great night. Let's pull off that W. Hope you'll tune in tomorrow for the pregame show. About an hour before, we'll be talking Birds, getting pumped up. Because whenever it's game day, I'm always ready to jump through that damn wall. So I will see you then. Have yourselves a great rest of the night. And as always, go Birds!